Hello and welcome to Nice and Blunt. Time for their live stream. It is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2:45 p.m. Let us begin. All right, here we are on Underdog. We're going to be hopping into a pit bowl. There are not too many spots left. This is currently about 72% full. Another 8,000, give or take, entries left. I want to do at least two more, and now feels like a perfect opportunity to get in an entry. So if you're new to this tournament, it is typical in the original pod. You got to finish top two out of 12. But if you make it past there, your chances at advancing are much higher than in general. 1 out of 6 in week 15, 1 out of 5 in week 16, and then a 156 seat final. If you make the final, you do get $500 back. So if you max this thing out and have all 10 entries, you'd be putting down $200. You'd get $500 back. And hopefully that is something we can accomplish. It goes up from there tremendously. If we finish top 10, 10K. If we finish first, 100K. That's what we're trying to get. That is the plan. And typical underdog league, 3 wide receivers, 2 running backs, 1 QB, 1 tight end. The rest are bench spots. Oh, there's also 1 flex. So we're going to hop in. If you want to join me, hit the button right now. I'm on a 5-6 second delay, so I will hop in 3, 2, 1. Let's go. 1 spot left. If you would like it, time is of the essence. You got to come grab it. And hopefully this does not take too long to fill. Looks like Sir Brooks is here in the chat with us. Has a question. Do you do Dynasty Leagues, and can you help me? I mean, I can try to help you. I do not do Dynasty Leagues, my friend. I have never been in a Dynasty League. I can kind of assume how it works, but if you're asking me, like, would I give up the 110 for such and such player, I don't really have like a point of reference for that. I can try my best. Any question you have, I can try and give you my opinion. But will I know exactly how to answer that question? I don't have like supreme expertise in Dynasty formats. Just gonna keep it real. Teddy wants me to show belly. Not today, man. You got a super chat. At least compensate me for the entry fee in a super chat, and then I'll consider it. But for free, oh no. Got to pay for that. For me to show skin, more skin than I already show, you gotta pay, buddy. Sorry, Teddy. Draft is underway. Here we go. Fucking weird comment. Making me crack up there, Teddy. Let's zoom in here a little bit. Get the board in the right spot. Okay. Bijan going at 2. Jahmyr Gibbs over Saquon. Very interesting. Saquon's been starting to fall. Maybe the Madden curse is scaring people off. Saquon at 6 feels a little bit egregious, but I mean, it's kind of like McCaffrey. It would have felt egregious to let him fall last year, and then shit went south, and that was definitely not the pick you wanted at 101 or even 102. But if I was Team 6, I'd be very happy to have him. Saquon there feels like a gift. But you can't really point to anything other than superstition of the Madden curse, and that's pretty much it. I mean, Kellen Moore's gone, but that means he probably gets more targets. Who are we looking at? Dang, kind of a tier break in terms of who's been taken. I think I'll go Genty. Yeah, let's go Genty. Let's just take Genty. I kind of have some other players ranked above him, honestly. But if you want him, you kind of have to take him here in the first place. So I don't want to be super underweight Genty anyways. So we'll do that. We'll do that. A chain goes. Pretty appropriate. Amon-Ra falls. I think we'll just take the ADP on St. Brown there. First round pick at pick 15. Would have considered Brock Bowers. I kind of want one team that's like double Raider, but I don't know. It's just I never really like my team very much when I have one of those elite tight ends, or especially in round two. Bowers in the second kind of makes me hate my team. I've also seen him fall much later. Like I've seen Bowers go like pick 22, 23, 24 a few times, and it's kind of disappointing when you look at your roster and you're like hamstrung at receiver later on. So we get a very good value on Amon-Ra St. Brown. We'll take him. Ryan with not really sure what the point is you're trying to make, but thank you for the number one crown. I have no idea what that means. Let me know, what does this crown mean by the person's name? 75 XP? Top fan? Okay. Cool. I don't know how you get that. It's new to me. I feel like I've never seen that before in the chat. Anyways, Drake London does go above St. Brown. I understand that. I can at least wrap my head around it. Not sure if I would do it, but I at least kind of understand. And then after we go Amon-Ra, we see A.J. Brown, Brock Bowers, Derrick Henry, Ladd McConkey, Bucky Irving, T. Higgins, Rashee Rice, Trey McBride, JT, Jacobs, Tyreek Hill at 26. So it feels like Tyreek Hill is like kind of officially moved to the top of round 3. The days of him falling past pick 30, 31 are probably over. But I don't know. I'm still a little bit worried about Tyreek Hill. The vibes just feel off with him. Like he could get traded and it wouldn't feel strange at all. You know, the Dolphins are kind of like jumping ship a little bit right now. So Waller coming in, no concerns on that. Waller might retire after game 3. Waller probably is kind of washed. Perhaps. But would have loved JSN there. Not really in love with this tier break. So I guess we'll just go with the elite QB. I don't really take the elite QB very often, but I'll go ahead and take Josh Allen. We're also at pick 10, so it's just a little bit more likely that we get that value on Khalil Shakir in round 7, falling back around. It's possible. Definitely not going to reach on Shakir for the sake of the stack, but it's, you know, something we can hope for. Oh yeah, Bobby, I got so screwed with this Freiermuth situation. Oh, it's so sad. I have like 14% Freiermuth before that trade happened, so not good. Not good at all. We have Amon-Ra. Let's mix it up. Let's go JMO. Let's go JMO. That double Detroit combo. We do have a lot of week 8 buys, but they're mixed mostly between 2 positions. We'll keep that in mind as a tiebreaker. Week 8 buy, something to maybe not go super ham on later on. But yeah, Freiermuth, sad turn of events there. Yeah, indeed. Ryan, I don't really know what you're doing, man. I don't even know who Jalen Wall is. Joe Turney. At least I know who Derrick Henry is, but yeah, don't quite know the fuck's going on. Jamie, this is the Pit Bowl. We're in the Pit Bowl today. And looks like we get ourselves set up for a Jared Goff team. But I might not reach on Goff. Given I have Allen, I might risk it that Goff flies back around to me in, what would that be, like round 11? I doubt we're going to take Goff at pick 111. I think we're going to try and hope that we can get him at 130. That might be a mistake, but that's probably going to be the plan. Because now the only other team I got to worry about would be the Gibbs team, and then whoever ends up with Laporta. If the Gibbs team ends up with Laporta, then I'll consider it. If they grab like a Joe Burrow there with T. Higgins, then I'll probably avoid it. Anyways, we have Josh Allen. Team after us goes Lamar, Jaden Daniels to pair up with Terry, and then DJ Moore, Devontae Smith, James Cook, Hampton, DK Metcalf, Sutton, Xavier Worthy, Waddle, Ridley, Travis Hunter. Seems like Hunter's kind of officially fallen down to the 5th round, which feels a bit more appropriate, but kind of just because there's more casual people coming in and, you know, his rookie status, like the people who are drafting in the month of May are a little bit more caught up in the hype post-draft. So I think that's kind of the main reason. Jawan Jennings goes. It's very interesting that Mixon has been plummeting. I still prefer Mixon over Kenneth Walker. It's very close. Mixon is older, but honestly, Walker has just as much, if not more, injury concerns. Walker goes down consistently, and given the tier we are at, I don't feel the need to like reach on a receiver. I'm hoping that Addison comes back around because we have that Lions-Vikings game. Got to bring back in week 17. We can potentially target. But Addison a little bit scary with his suspension looming. But that's definitely a possibility here. Godwin goes. Yeah, we'll see what Team 11 does. But odds are I will take a swing on Jordan Addison. Yep. I think that's what we're going to do. We're not taking Burrow, that's for sure. We're going to leave Burrow. Hopefully that team with Gibbs grabs him and then is less incentivized to snipe us on Jared Goff. But this is the team so far. We have Josh Allen, Ashton Genty, Joe Mixon, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Jordan Addison. J-Mo and Addison were like supreme best ball players. They were like potential league winners last year. Very, very high production. And the type of games that you like want to target in fantasy. Like they're either giving you like 30 yards or they're giving you like 120 and a touchdown. That's pretty nice. Jamie plugging his channel. Ryan Hickey with more random players. I mean, some of these players are really good. I assume they're players you like. There we go. Finally a defensive name. But retired. Oh no, I'm thinking JJ Watt. TJ Watt's still in the league. Is TJ Watt going to get traded? Do we know? He'll probably just get the contract. I don't think the Steelers are going to move off of TJ Watt. What was interesting about him, though, in like the last 3 weeks, 4 weeks of the season, he didn't log like a single stat. Whether it was like a sack, a QB pressure, tackle for loss. He didn't do anything on the field. I don't know if he was hurt, but just running slow. And if they lose him, their defense craters quite a bit. I think he will. Maybe one final season with another team, kind of like his brother. But for at least another contract, I would expect TJ Watt to remain in Pittsburgh. Okay, so that team with Gibbs does take Burrow. However, the team at 3 now has Laporta. So they also have Jefferson, They might also be targeting that Week 17 matchup. Something to keep in mind. At least I have Josh Allen, where like if I miss out on it, I'm gonna be fine. Nothing to really worry about too much in that scenario. But we're hoping one of these two teams grabs a running back, and that Shakir falls one extra pick. Goes downs. Okay, at worst we're getting Jaden Reed. But if Snappy Pants does not take Shakir, there we go. All right, love to see it. We got Josh Allen, Khalil Shakir paired up. This is an obvious pick. Give me the stack. And I think Shakir is a very safe option in this round, especially with some of the receivers we have. Like St. Brown's going to be a weekly staple in our lineup. JMO and Addison might be like boom bust options that when they're not in our lineup are giving us irrelevant weeks, like 3-5 points or less. Shakir is like going to consistently offer us like 10-11 points, and whenever he gets a touchdown, we'll be in better shape. But very comfortable taking him here. Happy with that. Aaron Jones goes off. Would have considered Jones for sure. So now, question is, do we grab a tight end? I think I'm going to go TJ Hawkinson. Get this other Minnesota Viking. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. We don't take TJ very much, but we are really consolidated in just a handful of teams. We got a pair of Bills. That's a good offense to have. We got a pair of Lions. That's a good offense to have. And then we're also rolling with a pair of Vikings pass catchers. Hopefully J.J. McCarthy is legit. At the very least, we are investing in Kevin O'Connell. And that's, in general, a good offense to have as well. We also got Genty, near Heisman winner, in Chip Kelly's offense. And then Joe Mixon. I don't think Mixon is washed yet. I think Mixon has at least one more year left in him with high production. So not worried about Nick Chubb. Not really worried about Woody Marks. And then Damian Pierce has become pretty irrelevant for a couple years now. So far, I think the team is well balanced, has good upside, good talent. I think we're in business. I don't know if it's my favorite team I've ever drafted. In general, I kind of don't like my teams when I have the elite QB, but we got the Shakir stack. That always feels nice. And then we have a tight end with the potential of finishing top 3. It's not out of the realm of possibility with TJ Hawkinson. So with this Vikings combo as well, I think I will push Jared Goff for sure at 111. I think we're going to ignore that. And even if we get sniped, hopefully we can at least get J.J. McCarthy wrapping back around, because really we only have to worry about the team with Justin Jefferson, and they just took Patrick Mahomes to pair with Rashee Rice. So they are also going to be in the market for Jared Goff. And I think because of the teams that are competing with us for these stacks, I think we actually have a decent shot at it working out, especially with that team with Gibbs going Fields here. I'd be pretty shocked if they grabbed a third quarterback in the next 2 rounds. So feeling good. I do not plan at all to be drafting Goff at 111. Unfortunately, Keon Coleman goes 97. It's been a while since Keon has fallen to late round 9, and it kind of feels appropriate. There's some upside that he offers that is just very hard to find in the remainder of the draft. So it is what it is, but no concern at all. The teams after me have 3 wide receivers, 4 wide receivers. They're probably going to target some receivers. I think I'm going to go Shaheed. I'm pretty underweight on Shaheed, and if he stays healthy, he was also a pretty good best ball candidate as well last year. So just going to mix him in here. Not sure he's like an elite pick. His quarterback situation is pretty gross. Otherwise, though, the player I like in this range a lot would be Evan Ingram, especially with Jonnu Smith plummeting in ADP. I think Ingram is a kind of a tier break type of guy. There's some question marks on whether Tyler Warren and Colston Loveland are actually going to be legit. The quarterback situation with Njoku is concerning. Njoku was elite last year, but all of his production lined up heavily with Jameis Winston as the quarterback. And uh, Joe Flacco's at least there, so there is some potential to work out. But given who they brought in, they drafted 2 rookies. At some point, they're going to want to see what the rookies have to offer. I don't expect Flacco to be the quarterback at the end of the season. That would be pretty shocking because he would have to be winning consistently. He'd have to keep them in playoff contention to keep his job. And it sounds like there's some actual hype on Kenny Pickett, which seems crazy, but is a possibility. I really want to take Evan Ingram here. I think that's the better pick, but we already have TJ Hawkinson. I don't think it's necessary, and I'm really behind at running back, so I'm going to go Cam Skattebo, slightly falling value on Skattebo. Don't like that Giants backfield. I don't feel really confident you're getting a full season out of either of them as the starter, but if I was going to place my bet on one, whether it's Tyrone Tracy or Skattebo, I absolutely prefer Skattebo. I think he's a more well-rounded player, higher draft capital. I think he will win the job at some point. Problem is Tracy probably never goes away until he gets hurt, and it might be a long time before Skattebo's actually contributing heavily in our lineup. But one reason he's also a little bit more tempting is we also get the Week 17 matchup between the Raiders and the Giants. That game is going to be in a dome. And with no weather to worry about, there is a little bit more upside in the scoring department. I don't really think either defense is that scary. So hopefully in the fantasy playoffs, Skattebo has that job all to himself, and he goes on a bit of a head-to-head battle with Genty in the scoreboard. So as our RB3, a potential starter on an NFL team, one of the last you can get, a decent price here, and especially if he's going cheaper than Tyrone Tracy, I will probably be drafting more and more Skattebo in this range of the draft. It kind of falls off heavily, and while there is some upside with Charbonnet, it's pretty reliant on an injury to Kenneth Walker, which does tend to happen kind of consistently. And then Najee Harris, I'm starting to really, really fade. I was more interested about a month ago. Now I'm just putting almost all of my eggs in the Omarion Hampton basket. And I've been on this for a while. Najee Harris is not in any way, shape, or form the new J.K. Dobbins. He's the new Gus Edwards. And that's pretty sad. So looks like we made it past teams 3 and 4 with the Jared Goff stacking options. Still needs to fall another 4 picks, but if Goff is there at 130, that's the perfect scenario for us. Goff would clearly be the pick, even though if Luther Burden was there, it'd also be very, very tempting as well. But that's going to be the plan. We got Amon-Ra and J-Mo on this team, and J.J. McCarthy's already off the board. So this is the last team to worry about. They only have 1 quarterback. The next team has 2. And if Unkidom Freebands does pass, looks like we're going to get him. That's pretty nice. So Goff should be the pick here. Snappy Pants goes Tucker Kraft. Jared Goff, beautiful, beautiful stack. Week 8 bye, but Josh Allen has week 7. We're in business here. We're only drafting 2. That feels nice. Hell yeah. Josh Allen stacked up with Khalil Shakir. We're going to be targeting Kincaid with our next pick. And then we got Genty, Joe Mixon, Cam Skattebo. At running back, wide receiver Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Jordan Addison, Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, and tight end TJ Hawkinson. Question is, though, do I push Kincaid? There's kind of like not that much reason to be drafting Kincaid, and we're kind of like so far behind at running back. Kind of feels a little wise. Really tempted to go with Benson or Rachaad White here. Not going to take Jonnu, not going to take Jordan Love. Yeah, I'm just going to play it safe. Going to grab Kincaid. Give us our other stack. Running back is solid enough where I'm not going to panic. Not going to panic with Genty, Mixon, and Skattebo. I think we can still get away with it. But with TJ and Dalton Kincaid, I feel like I can get away with 2 as well. So we can load up. This could be like a 6 running back, 8 receiver build. maybe even a 7 receiver build. So, yeah, good value. I agree, Albie. Am I doing another draft? If so, which one are you contemplating? I would probably stick in the pit bull. I believe I would remain in the pit bull if I do another one. Where's Kitty Leia? She's sleeping. She's off camera. She's over there to my right, stage left, if you will. And what up, AR-15? I'm doing good, man. Feeling good. I like this team as well. I think we got good stacks, good upside, and a deep enough receiver core where even though our running back room isn't like the best possible, not that deep, I still think we can have some good success here on this squad. So here's a full reminder. We have Josh Allen paired up with Khalil Shakir and Dalton Kincaid. We have Jared Goff at a value, about 16 picks past ADP, paired up with Amon-Ra and Jamison Williams. Our running back room has Ashton Genty, Joe Mixon, and Scadaboo. And then our full receiving core is Amon-Ra St. Brown, Jamison Williams, Jordan Addison, Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed. We also have TJ Hawkinson. So, yeah, pretty good. I think we're just running back, wide receiver the rest of the way here. And players to consider would be Josh Palmer. We'll need to grab some running backs because it's a little thin. But bye weeks are spread out. We've got good week 17 correlation, good stacking options. I think we drafted well on this one. I feel pretty good. Now it's just a matter of landing this plane with relative success. Let's take a look at the teams after us. The teams around the turn. One of them doesn't have a tight end yet, but we're not in that market, so that's good for us. And then one team only has 4 receivers. So I would be a little worried that team 10 is going to double tap receiver around the turn, which means if I want Josh Palmer, I think I need to take him. Would have liked Eckler, though. That's kind of unfortunate that he's not available. But Jonnu available at 152. Boy, he is just falling like a rock. I think that team at 12 is going to get a relatively fair value on Jonnu. I think at this point, late round 13, that's probably where he should be going. And I'm not going to risk it too much. Allen's going to really spread the ball around. I'm just going to take Josh Palmer and move on. We're definitely in need of at least a couple more receivers. Let's get another Bill on this roster here. I do like Keon Coleman much better, but, we missed out on Keon. And, wow, this is kind of shocking. They go Brenton Strange over Jonnu. That feels a little excessive. Tank Bigsby off the board. Damn. I mean, at 159, I kind of feel like Jonnu is worth it, but we have TJ Hawkinson, we have Kincaid. Maybe not. Running back is kind of brutal in general, but it's between Jonnu and Jalen Wright. I'm going to go Jalen Wright. I think I need running back way more than tight end. So who knows? There's a chance Jonnu comes all the way back around. That would be pretty shocking, but this team is just not set up for Jonnu Smith, so we're going to ignore Jonnu Smith. I thought that team that went Brenton Strange and Bigsby should have probably taken Jonnu. 160 for Jonnu feels like a good value. I think he'll be essentially the number 2 target for Aaron Rodgers this year. So, while he's in a split tight end room with Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington will be on the field getting a lot of snaps as well, I would still probably project like 90 targets for Jonnu Smith. They're going to pay him $12 million. I think he's going to be involved as a target hog. Because I don't trust Calvin Austin. I don't trust Roman Wilson. There's really just DK Metcalf and Pat Freiermuth. And then beyond that, it's just Jalen Warren. So Arthur Smith has a Jonnu fetish. And I would expect Jonnu to pay off. Yeah, Jonnu at 160, Darren Waller 164. That feels like a much better value with Jonnu Smith there. Um, I would expect Jonnu to be better than Kyle Pitts and Darren Waller by a relatively decent amount. Maybe I'm underestimating Waller, but uh, I think if Jonnu falls 25, 30 picks in your draft, you should probably take him. Kind of wish I had a better running back core so I could have grabbed him myself, but the team just didn't justify it. Snappy Pants gets a good value at pick 10. Okay, you're out of pit bulls. Yeah, you can only do like 10. I think I've done 4 already. I think this is my 5th. It's either my 5th or 4th. Yeah, I feel solid about it. Palmer over Tillman. Yes, Jamie. When I have Josh Allen, I will definitely go Palmer over Tillman. But I know you love Tillman. Oh, yeah, there's no way I'm taking QJ in a regular redraft league. I kind of regret passing on QJ over Jalen Wright, but running back just got away from me. Running back just slipped away. People were reaching on Roshan Jarquez Hunter before I take Jalen Wright. And Jalen Wright has the potential of being like, a Raheem Mostert next year. I think he can coexist with A-Chain. Maybe not like an elite option, but I think he can offer us like 5, 6 decent weeks. And then A-Chain had a very injury-prone rookie season. There's a world where A-Chain is actually really, really not productive for, due to injury for some time. And Jalen Wright does slip in. But I need running back pretty badly. So I'm going to just bet on Joe Mixon working out. We're going to go Will Shipley. We'll do that. And I definitely need another running back. We have 3 more picks. Man, it's kind of gross, but I think I'm going to go Darius Slayton, get another giant, and another investment in New York with that Las Vegas bring back. Yeah. With this 7, with Amon-Ra, Jameson Williams, Addison, Shakir, Shaheed, Palmer, and Slayton, I think I could get away with just 7. I'm probably going to take 8. I definitely need another running back for sure. I need at least one more running back. But we got Wright and Shipley, valuable handcuffs to own. I think we're in good shape. Anyway, let's see how this thing ends. But yeah, the stack is valuable in best ball. Tillman could be a solid sleeper if he plays like that 3-game stretch last year on a more consistent basis. I would love for that to happen, but those games were also with Jameis Winston, a quarterback that was chucking it like crazy and, offering the highest upside we saw for any pass catchers in Cleveland. Without Jameis Winston, it's kind of just a bit more of a gamble. And then, there's just a world where Tillman also gets another concussion week 4 and, has to miss another 6 games. But I am hopeful about Tillman. I wouldn't completely dismiss Tillman. It is risky, though, and without when there's a stacking option and you need running back, I can justify passing on him. But Frozen Gaming is asking, am I crazy for considering trading Saquon for Genty in a keeper league? I feel like Saquon won't repeat the season he had, and if Genty explodes, he probably won't be available anymore. In a keeper league, it's definitely understandable why you'd at least think about it. This year, I'd probably bet on Saquon to have a better season, but Saquon is like 28 this year. I think he's 27. He's turning 28 at some point later. Meanwhile, Genty's like 22. Not even. He's 21 and a half right now. So he turns 22 at the end of the year. If you want a keeper for, year over year in the future, then yeah, then there is a reason to be pivoting in favor of Genty, but it's a big unknown. You could be wrong about it, and he's only 5'8". There's a world where he gets hurt, and you do really regret it. But I'm gonna go Deontay Thornton. We have a Raider on this team. We're also kind of looking at that Giants Las Vegas game. So we'll go Dante Thornton. I've been drafting Dante Thornton since the end of April, since these contests were live. And he's been moving up the board. If he falls 10 picks, I'll definitely take him. I would like him on my team. I do think Dante Thornton has some legitimate upside. A lot of speed, good size. Hopefully optimistic about Dante Thornton. But we're back on the clock. We absolutely need a running back. I would consider Blake Corum for sure. There's Jordan James as well. I think I'd rather go Jordan James though. Like, if Jordan James works out, he could have that job all to himself. That's kind of what we've seen from Kyle Shanahan. If McCaffrey goes down, he kind of just trusts on one guy. Meanwhile, if Kyron Williams goes down, Corum is probably splitting a lot of touches with Jarquez Hunter. So let's go Jordan James. True lottery ticket. I'm definitely in the Isaac Guerendo camp, but every now and then I will sprinkle in Jordan James. Because for some reason, the Niners backfield just has such a bad omen and such bad injury risk. They almost all get hurt in the first place. Like last year, I was all aboard the Guerendo train, and then it was like McCaffrey goes down, but Jordan Mason's the guy. That's a bummer. And then Jordan Mason goes down when McCaffrey comes back, and when McCaffrey goes down again, it's Guerendo's job for like 3 weeks. And then Guerendo goes down as well. There was a week with Patrick Taylor. For some reason, the Niners backfield just never stays healthy. So as the third stringer, kind of needs an extra bump, but there's nothing guaranteed to any of the running backs drafted in round 18 in the first place. At least Jordan James has that truly elite upside. So this is the team. Another reminder real quick. We have Josh Allen with Khalil Shakir, Dalton Kincaid, and Joshua Palmer. So triple stack Josh Allen. I like that. Our other quarterback is Jared Goff at a prime value. We got him at pick 130. He goes 114, so a round and a half is where he fell. And we have him stacked up with Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jamison Williams, double stacked Jared Goff. Our running back room has Ashton Genty, Joe Mixon as the top two guys. We're betting on Cam Scattaboo to get some starts. Hopefully that works out. And then we have 3 handcuffs we're hoping pop. We have Jalen Wright, Will Shipley, and Jordan James. Let's hope for the best. And then our tight end room has TJ Hawkinson, Dalton Kincaid. And then lastly, our full receiver room consists of Amon-Ra St. Brown in the second round, Jamison Williams, early fourth, Jordan Addison, Khalil Shakir, Rashid Shaheed, Joshua Palmer, Darius Slayton, and Dante Thornton. I think this team is competitive. I think it can work out. We obviously have a great quarterback room, and as long as our TJ Hawkinson bet works out, then I think we will get away with just the Genty Mixon combo and not need too many flex contributions from our running back room. So let's hope that Scattaboo is a good player. I think he's a decent pick at where we got him, but I think in order to like really pay off, one of these rando handcuffs will need to work out, and I think it's definitely possible. So the team was good. I think it was a relatively decent investment. If Barkley does go down, Shipley's going to have tremendous value. And yeah, I kind of agree, Jamie. There's a lot of reasons to be worried about Blake Corum because he was kind of a bust last year. And the fact they drafted Hunter is maybe just an indictment on Kyron Williams, but also an indictment on him that they don't trust him as their only backup. But projecting how many passing attempts each Browns quarterback is getting this season is super tough as of right now. Yeah, I have no idea. I think we're gonna get like 3 games from Flacco, and then like 3 games from Kenny Pickett, and then it's gonna be like 4 games for Gabriel, a couple games for Shador. I think it's going to be just rotating constantly in the Browns quarterback room. But PPR Tyler, nice to see you. How we doing? We're doing good, man. I think we got a pretty good team here out of the 10 slot. And we're going to do one more. We're going to do yet another Pit Bowl while this contest is still open. So if y'all want to join me, hit the button right now, and then I'll count down 3, 2, 1. Let's join. 8 spots left. Plenty of room if you want it. We are in a pit bowl, and hopefully it will be underway pretty soon. So been drafting any super flex? I drafted like 5 or 6 of them when the contest opened, and then after like it was open for like 3-4 days, I've cooled it. Haven't gotten in a while. Maybe I should before it closes. Where is that thing sitting at the moment? Is it still like 80% last I checked? Something like that. There's a lot of entries in that one, so I still think I have some time. But yeah, it's been a minute since I've done the Superflex one. But in general, I think those are kind of fun. I just think it's kind of weird that like for the first day or two, there's like such crazy ADPs that the teams are like so heavily skewed and favored on some of those rosters. And then once the ADP adjusts, it's all kind of like, you know, you're at a disadvantage. But it's not to say you can't still win drafting the Superflex teams at this point in time. It's just not really like one of my favorite things to do. Jeremy, we are in the pit bowl. In the pit bowl. As it says right here. We have, how many entries do I still have? I think this is either my 5th or 6th. I'm probably going to do like 8 of them. Perhaps. I don't think I'm going to completely max it out. I don't think I'm going to have enough time to catch up. At $20 a pop, I'm saving a little bit of my budget for later on. Hopefully, Jamie, hopefully we can win. Last year, I only drafted 1 pit bowl, and it was 10 points away from advancing to the final. It was like literally like less than 9 points. And that team had Jalen McMillan, and Jalen McMillan was the only, I was the only team in my pod with Jalen McMillan that week, and he scored a touchdown, a 40-yard bomb that was ripped out of his hands, a 10.5-point play that would have put me in first in that pod, would have advanced me to the final, would have won me like $500, and because of that play, I did miss out on the final in the pit bowl. It was my only team drafted in the pit bowl last year, and it went to week 16 and was literally like centimeters away from cashing. It just didn't work out. So close, but no cigar. We still have 4 spots in this one, so if you are interested, you can come join us. Jeremy says, damn, I assume maybe y'all are maxed out on your entries. Oh, someone's here. Someone's here. You want to say hi? You want to say hi? Hello. Oh, kitty cat. The kitty cat. Oh, the kitty cat. Okay. Looks like there's only... Oh, whoops. What did I do? What did I do? There we go. I tried to get rid of the intro there, but I hit the wrong button. We're back, though. Cameras. All fun. Okay. Okay. She wants some treats. She's gonna bully me into feeding her. That's what's gonna happen right now. There you go. Oh, you know it, man. You know that's liver. It says it right there. Beef liver. freeze dried for cats and dogs. A 100% natural single ingredient made with real beef liver. I get that at Aldi. Like the full bag is like $3. Anyways, it lasts about like a week, maybe 10 days. Come on. You wanted it. She begged for it. She's not eating it now. Ooh, we get pick 2. Finally. Finally, a high-end pick. That's dope. We're in here behind Captain Kirk's balls, ahead of King Fantasy, Abundant Bro, Abandon the Run, Rob Min, The Tone, Black Jesus, Legio 13 in Roman numerals, No Cap CZ, TA Buckeye, and Dwindle. Am I going to take Bijan? Perhaps. Perhaps. For once, I would love to get Jamar Chase at pick 2. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a lobby where Chase goes at pick 2. No. I don't have much Jefferson. I definitely don't have him in this tournament. I'm gonna go Jefferson. I already have Bijan on at least one other team, so I'm gonna diversify. We're gonna go receiver in round 1. I feel like you can still get really good running backs around the next turn, whereas I don't think you have an access to like a really good wide receiver at that 2-3 turn. Like the fall off from like AJ Brown, Lad McConkey in the mid second round is like really steep at the position. And meanwhile, you can still get like Bucky Irving or Josh Jacobs, Jonathan Taylor sometimes. And there's a world where those guys are like top 4 running backs next year. So even though it's tempting to go Bijan, I think I already have him enough where I can pass. I'm going to take Jefferson. I think Jefferson's one of the guys in round 1 that I'm kind of underweight on. I don't have like a ton of him. Same with Jamar, but it's kind of just like the luck of the draw. I would be taking these guys plenty if I just had these early picks, but I've mentioned this on the channel. We had pick 10 in the last one. For some reason, I get these back end picks so much more than the high end picks. I don't know what is going on with my luck here, but yeah, in general, I don't really get a top 2 pick. More often, I get a bottom 2 pick. And not saying it's the end of the world, it just makes my exposures like much more heavily weighted against some of these high-end guys. Okay. Jamie knows Dwindle. And then Jeremy Wilk got him second. I assume you're talking about Jamar. Okay, let me focus. We do have a pretty long wait here at the top. Did anything crazy happen? Oh, wow. Lad McConkey goes pick 11. I do not understand why players like Brian Thomas, Amon-Ra, and I guess to a certain extent Nico have been falling into round 2. But like, if you let Brian Thomas fall to pick 16, you are kind of just gifting that team with Puka and Brian Thomas an advancement. Like, it feels really hard to fuck up a team that begins Puka Brian Thomas. Like, only an injury can set that team back. But London goes pick 19 behind Rashee Rice. Didn't even notice that. Holy shit, what is happening here? That team at 6 is lucking out like crazy. Holy shit, this is a weird lobby. And now I wish I had one of those later round picks. Damn, Marvin Harrison at pick 20, AJ Brown 21. What the fuck? Bucky Irving goes. Wanted Bucky Irving, in all honesty. I do have Jacobs ranked above Taylor this year, so I'm going to go Josh Jacobs. Because if we go T. Higgins, I think Captain Kirk's balls can like just double up on running back. And then we just miss out on the value we were trying to get. So we will take Justin Jefferson and Josh Jacobs. Tyreek Hill goes. Okay, if T. Higgins is in the third, I'll go T. Higgins. I'd much rather have T. Higgins than Garrett Wilson. I can argue for Devontae Adams above him, but give me T. Higgins in the third. Absolutely. I almost took T. Higgins there instead of Jacobs, but wanted to guarantee I get at least one of my running backs picked there. And so it does work out. We get Jacobs and T. Higgins. Not like the most unique start in the world. Like the ADP value on Higgins is kind of canceled out with the Josh Jacobs pick above him. But a balanced approach and one I'm not afraid of committing to. And I think if Team 1 pushes Burrow at the next turn, we're going to pass on him too and hopefully get him at 71. I'm going to try and get Burrow in round 6. We have him on the thumbnail. I do not have him in this tournament yet. Hopefully it's a good omen and we get some good luck. But I will not be drafting Burrow at 47 or 50. Going to try and get him at 71. Even though the team with Chase Brown is right before me, I think if they go Burrow at pick 70 or even pick 51, I think with their start, they're kind of behind the 8 ball a little bit in their wide receiver exposures. But what am I drafting? I think we answered this already. We're drafting a Pitbull. What about Taylor? I have him in the same tier as Jacobs. If you prefer Taylor, go ahead. There's definitely some good reason to be drafting Taylor, but I think Jonathan Taylor has more injury risk than Josh Jacobs. That is the main reason why I prefer Josh Jacobs. I think they're both in line to be like top 11, top 10 running backs. I have them in the same tier. I don't see a big difference between them. I have Bucky ranked above both of them, but I actually also have Chase Brown ranked above Jonathan Taylor. So I am just going to stick to my personal rankings, and I will go with Josh Jacobs instead. Yeah, that's the reason why we go Jefferson over Saquon, cash fee, this point that Cobra's making, because the value at running back we can get in round 2 is still somewhat comparable to, you know, the high-end running backs you can get instead of just Jefferson. Meanwhile, the receivers we're looking at do not compare, in my opinion, at all to Justin Jefferson. So that is why I go Jay Jettas above Saquon. Saquon goes pick 6. There's a bunch of people who passed on Saquon in this draft. I'm definitely going Omarion Hampton. I'm fully committed to Hampton. And I've been fading Xavier Worthy for a while now. So let's go Hampton. I think he's in a tier you can't quite replicate moving forward at running back. And I'm putting all my eggs in that basket at this point. Completely fading Najee Harris. Call me a Chargers fanboy all you want, but I believe in the Jim Harbaugh running back having a 20 touchdown ceiling. I really think it's possible. I'm a believer in Omarion Hampton. And it's also possible we get Worthy on the way back. No, he goes 49. That's all right. Um, don't have much Waddle. And given the Johnny Smith trade and my lack of faith in Waller, I'm willing to go with Waddle here. There's also still a scenario that Tyreek Hill does get traded. I wouldn't rule that out completely. Especially if we get to like week 5 and the team is like 2-3 and then Tua gets hurt. I think the Dolphins are just going to cut ship entirely and get rid of Tyreek Hill while they can. Um, I'm starting to actually like think Waddle's a very valuable pick. Like Waddle compared to Jamison Williams on a very similar plateau. So we'll take him. We can afford it. Cashy, but we shit on JJ McCarthy. We did, but at the end of the day, trusting Jefferson is still viable, especially with the Addison suspension looming. There's going to be 3 games where like, that target share is going to be elite. It's going to be at the beginning of the season, most likely. But oh wow, Joe Burrow goes 55 to the team unstacked at 7, whatever. I trust Kevin O'Connell. That's the thing. Yeah, there's a world where McCarthy is trash, but like he looked decent in that preseason game last year before he hurt his knee. No one believed in Sam Darnold, even though I was drafting him, and he fucking balled out, had an insane year, and it's Kevin O'Connell, man. It's Justin Jefferson, it's Kevin O'Connell. He's gonna be fine. Maybe he's not wide receiver 2, but there's no way he's worse than like wide receiver 6. Like you really trust Nico Collins over Justin Jefferson? I don't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't bet on Jefferson to bust. That's pretty much impossible unless he gets hurt, and that's something you can say about any player in the NFL. So I want my exposure to Jefferson to be at least in line with the average, and at the moment it's below 8%. So let me get Jefferson while I can, and let me enjoy myself with Justin Jefferson. I heard that too. I felt like it's a bit of a rumor. I'd be pretty shocked if it happened. I think the only way it does happen is if someone, goes down. But like the only teams that were like considering are going to be in the market for a trade at running back are like Dallas and then maybe the Chiefs, like if Pacheco's that shitty. But even then, the Chiefs don't really put much draft capital or any investment into running back in general. It'd be hard for me to envision that. If a team is going to trade for a running back, I think it's a lot more likely they trade for Alvin Kamara above Najee Harris. They probably also trade for like Travis Etienne above Najee Harris. Like I wouldn't bet on it. I would just more so expect Najee to be faded out of the equation as Hampton is that much more legit. But yeah, I did see that as well. There is a slight possibility that it happens. This is not ideal, but in terms of receivers here, I think I'm gonna go Ricky Pearsall, 1st-round pick. Did kind of get banged up, but don't really like love the running backs here. We see Swift go off the board. I'm not a Debo guy. Oh, Pacheco there is interesting. Damn. I think I'm going to go Caleb Johnson, but I don't feel good about it. Shit. Yeah, with a 20-second timer. Wish I had a little bit more time to think about it, but we're going to go with Caleb Johnson. The tier break at running back is definitely approaching. And I still think we can get a decent receiver around the next turn. Like at worst, we're getting Keon Coleman. So I don't see like a massive, massive difference between, you know, Egbuka potentially, Jaden Higgins potentially, or even Keon Coleman compared to some of these receivers. There is plenty of risk with these guys. Meanwhile, the running back difference of like Tyrone Tracy versus Caleb Johnson, I'd much rather have Caleb Johnson. I do believe in him somewhat. Jamie likes Golden for best ball. I have a lot of Golden, kind of too much in my. I have like 16% Matthew Golden, so I've been trying to cool it. Been trying to take Jaden Reed a little bit more, but oh, I guess I could have gone in that direction. We have Jacobs, but yeah, like I mentioned, the receiver value at the next turn is still somewhat decent, whereas the running back value really falls off a cliff once you hit like pick 90. So I'm just gonna get ahead of that. That way I can only draft 5 running backs on this team, feel good about it. And we're going to have to grab quarterback at some point. We're going to have to grab tight end at some point. I considered Laporta, though. I almost went Laporta. But I have a decent amount of Laporta already. And I've been starting to be a little bit more reluctant in trusting the Lions offensive coordinator. Without Ben Johnson, there's a world where it gets ugly. It may not be what we've come to expect in the passing game. Definitely trust Gibbs. I still think I trust Amon-Ra, but I think one of Jameson Williams or Laporta probably disappoints. At least a little bit. At least a little bit. Anyways, I expect the team after us to probably go with Patrick Mahomes. They have Worthy and Pacheco. And the team with Rashee Rice just passed on Mahomes for Ayuk. So I would anticipate the team at 1 around the turn to go Mahomes and Kelsey. Which means if that's the case, we can push quarterback just a little bit. But stacking options, we have J.J. McCarthy, we have Tua, we have Purdy available. I think I'm going to go Jaden Higgins here. I have some high hopes on Jaden Higgins. Expect him to be on the field. And we'll give Captain Kirk's balls the gift of Mahomes and Kelsey. I expect that to be the picks here. Mahomes goes. That's kind of a given. They go Bo Nix instead. That's kind of interesting, though. Kind of just want to get ahead of market on receiver. And then only draft like one more the rest of the way. Yeah, fuck it. Let's do it. Let's go Keon Coleman. So here's the draft so far. No quarterback, no tight end, but a pretty good running back room with Jacobs, Hampton, and Caleb Johnson. I do think you want some rookie running backs this season. It's a really good class, really talented. And then receiver room is pretty much loaded. We're only drafting one more, and it'll be someone that lines up with a back stack at QB. We have Justin Jefferson, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, and Keon Coleman. Receiver room is really strong on this team. I think running back is also very strong. But perhaps I'm going to need a running back to offer some early season production. Like, this is a team where I think Ramondre Stevenson might be a decent acquisition. Not a player I generally believe in, but probably has a bigger role at the beginning of the season than later in the year. And you expect with Caleb Johnson and Hampton in September to maybe be a little bit less involved. The backups are probably going to get some level of work and commitment early in the year. So that's kind of the only thing I'll be factoring in at running back, but not the end of the world if I don't get candidates to fill that out. I think we'll be okay. But I'm going to need some quarterbacks coming up soon. And inevitably we'll have to get tight end. But punting tight end, not the end of the world. Maybe we target Jonnu at a value. After Keon Coleman, we see Jordan Mason, Mark Andrews, Travis Etienne, Justin Fields. I mean, if Aaron Jones goes down, then Mason's probably a good pick. But until that happens, I'm not like dying to take him. I'll mix him in occasionally, but that's why I take Caleb Johnson. I don't really want to be taking any of the running backs here at the top of round 9. I think they're all kind of overrated a little bit. You need to kind of get lucky, in my view, for them to pan out. Like, I think you'll hit week 3 and be like, shit, I really regret taking them. And then maybe there's an injury in week 5 to the other player in the backfield and like, oh, I got bailed out. But without it, you might be really upset. Dobbins just continues to fly up the board. Dobbins now going at 112 above Najee Harris in the same category as Charbonnet. And, yeah, he's talented, but factoring in the injury concerns, I don't know if I'm dying to take him very, very often. Wow, Caleb Williams falls. We don't have a stack, though. That's kind of a bummer. I think I'll just take him, but not ideal. Actually, no, I'm going to go Tyler Warren. The team after me does not have a tight end, so I'm going to grab Tyler Warren. They go Njoku and Kraft. I'll take Caleb Williams. I think he's the best quarterback for fantasy left on the board. I really do. And although the Loveland pick might have been justified, I think we can gamble that Loveland comes back around. I think it's possible. Not guaranteed, that's for sure. We'd probably get lucky, but Loveland has been dipping into round 12 a lot more lately. So, given the fade on Caleb in this lobby, it's still possible. There's the team with Burden. There's the team with DJ Moore. And the team with Rome. But I think it'll be okay. I'm definitely not going Caleb over JJ McCarthy. I'm not going JJ McCarthy over Caleb. That feels insane. We do have the Jefferson stack that could justify it, but I don't think that's a wise move at all. Yeah, Caleb definitely set up for some massive success. I believe in Ben Johnson. That's ultimately the belief. But there's also a lot of rushing upside with Caleb Williams. He had almost 500 rushing yards last season. Underrated. Not a single rushing touchdown, but that probably changes this year. And if he can just stop getting sacked so much, I think their offense is going to be way, way better. I don't think they're going to make the playoffs, but I think for fantasy, their offense is going to be way, way better. And there's a lot of mouths to feed, so it might be disappointing when you start a random Bears whiteout. They might be actually a big letdown. You might have to get lucky on when is the right week to start them, but in general, I think Caleb will be a very reliable quarterback. Definitely, I think top 13 at the worst. That's like a worst case scenario. Best case scenario is like top 6. Uh-huh. She's trying to block your view. The team after me has 2 tight ends. It's a bummer I don't have a Falcon because I kind of want to go with Penix, but I'm gonna go Jonnu. I think at this price I'm willing to take Jonnu, and perhaps I should have gone running back instead, but F it. Captain Kirk's balls only has 3 running backs, so that's probably what the move. He only has 4 receivers though. He has Tyreek. He might go with Tua, but he already has 2 quarterbacks. I doubt that'll happen. Yeah, running back's a bit gross. I'm gonna take Tua. I think Penix is more valuable, but we have Waddle. We need some type of stack. And no, I'm not expecting Johnny to be stacked. I think I'm going to target Aaron Rodgers later. I think I'm going to do that. I can also target Daniel Jones for the Tyler Warren combination. But if Caleb unstacked Tua with Waddle, I think I'm going to need a third. What's up, Franco? How you doing? Welcome in. Okay, so here's the team so far. Quarterback is Caleb Williams and Tua. Running back room is Josh Jacobs, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson. Wide receiver room, very much loaded with Jefferson, T. Higgins, Jalen Waddle, Ricky Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, and Keon Coleman. And then tight end, we have Tyler Warren, Jonnu Smith. I think at this price, Jonnu is absolutely worth it. I don't think there's any way he'd fall to me at 167. So the difference between taking him at 143, 146 is pretty irrelevant in my opinion. But now we're a little bit more committed into Pittsburgh, and I think Rodgers would be justified for sure. I might grab Malik Washington with our final pick. Now that we have Tua. It's a bummer that the only bear left on the board is Roschon Johnson. Roschon, Manangai, Cole Kmet, and Olamide Zaccheaus, the only remaining bears. But the fact that everyone else is going so much higher in the draft is a very good sign that Caleb Williams is probably a very good pick. You know, we trust the rest of them a lot. I think that probably indicates Caleb is going to be successful. If you got it at the 9 slot, then it's pretty lucky. If you got it at pick 11, that's not the most crazy thing to happen. But in BBM, that's an excellent start. Got to feel good with that. I'm going to go Roschon for sure here. We need some running backs. We have Caleb. We need some type of Bears correlation. I think this is a clear decision. Give me Roschon. Not a big pass catcher, but still. Okay. And then I think I might just take Rodgers because yeah, let's just get ahead of it. We have Rodgers paired up with Caleb Johnson and Jonnu Smith. We're only going to draft 7 receivers, so I could go Calvin Austin or I can go Malik Washington at the end. That'll be our 7th. And then otherwise, maybe we grab another tight end. That's possible. I definitely need at least one more running back. Yeah, maybe this is a 3-5-7-3 build. I can probably get away with that. At the 10 spot, they both fell about 2 after ADP. That's a pretty nice combo, man. I'd be very confident with both year 2 LSU receivers. Neighbors BT, hard to beat. And with their age, very limited injury concern. That's a great combo. Let me know how the rest of that draft went. I'd be interested. Did you at least stack up Lawrence, or did you get stuck with like Dart, or did you just go unstacked? But I'm really glad I took Keon Coleman there, because there's really no desire to be drafting a receiver at all in this range in the first place. And it allows us to just get some values. Granted, other than our value on Caleb, like quarterback was actually kind of pushed up otherwise. Like we see Drake May at 114, Herbert 118. That's a little bit high. And then Bryce Young goes 150. Penix at a decent value, 156. But then Geno, Stafford, Ward, even Darnold kind of high. So we might not see another quarterback drafted at all in this lobby, but best to get the guy we need for the stack. Also, there's probably kind of a limited amount of Jonnu and Rodgers combinations in the first place. You know, like it's probably not the most coveted stack, just because only up until 2 days ago, you didn't even know it was a viable stack. So some teams will luck into it, but in general, it's not something that's being targeted up until now. And this tournament's going to close in probably the next 4 days. I'd be pretty surprised if we hit Monday and this tournament's still open. So fewer chances to have it. Maybe that helps us just be unique a little bit, but probably not that big of an advantage at the end of the day. Angus, welcome to the chat, buddy. Yeah, the Tua value, obviously, like it accounts for the massive risk of him getting concussed again and missing, the rest of his career, but worth a gamble for sure. Not gonna go Hopkins. Fuck. Running back is kind of sad here. I think we'll take a swing on Jarquez Hunter. I've got a lot of DJ Giddens already. I'm trying to get some more Hunter in my bag. Only have 2 picks left, so fuck it. Let's go Darren Waller. We need the Miami correlation. Let's take a shot on him. What's the worst that could happen? Here's the team. We have Caleb Williams unstacked, Tua paired up with Waddle and Darren Waller. We have Rodgers with Caleb Johnson, probably a very unnecessary pairing, but we also have him stacked up with Jonnu Smith. Our other tight end is Tyler Warren. And then running back room is Josh Jacobs, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Roshan Johnson, Jarquez. Looks like Angus is happy with that. And then wide receiver, we have Jefferson, T. Higgins, Waddle, Pearsall, Higgins, both Higgins, T and Jaden, and then Keon Coleman. So we've ignored that position since round 9, but it's so loaded. I am very comfortable with how it worked out. And Waller's 4 catches per game will kill it. I hope so. I mean, that's a pretty average type of tight end production. Like most tight ends beyond the top 10 average like 4 catches for 40 yards if they have any fantasy relevance. So that's what essentially hoping for. But coming out of retirement, he might absolutely suck. He might retire after week 4 again. Realize like, yeah, I don't want to be here. That's what he was saying in like a recent interview. Like he was playing fullback or something and was like, why the fuck am I here? And then retired. But we'll be looking at Malik Washington or Calvin Austin's off the board, so we can go Roman Wilson if we really wanted to. And then there's no Bears other than Cole Kmet, Olamide, Zacchaeus. If Zacchaeus is the guy you need, that's going to fucking suck. So many people are going to be happy with that. Franco, I will get to your question in just a second. I'm going to make this pick, and then I'll take a look at your roster. Angus asking, am I Miles Sanders pilled? I'm still on the Javonte Williams train, but I am a little worried about Miles Sanders, I will admit. I'm still on board the Javonte bandwagon. Yeah, I'm going to go full fade on Tyreek Hill. Maybe he gets traded and Malik Washington does move up the board here. He's definitely getting a few more targets now that Johnny's gone. Let's go Malik Washington. I'm not really dying to go Roman Wilson. Let's do it. So here's the team. Full team: Caleb, Tua, Aaron Rodgers, Josh Jacobs, Omarion Hampton, Caleb Johnson, Roshan Johnson, Jarquez Hunter. Very strong at the top. Fine towards the bottom. And then receiver, really strong with Jefferson, T. Higgins, Waddle, Pearsall, Jaden Higgins, Keon Coleman, Malik Washington. And then tight end, good enough, I think, with Tyler Warren, Jonnu Smith, and Darren Waller. Anyways, Angus, I feel like Tyreek gets traded and McDaniel is gone end of year. I kind of agree with that, man. Maybe Tyreek doesn't get traded until, the draft next season, but I think Mike McDaniel, this is probably his last season. I don't see them making the playoffs. I just don't. Hopefully Tua stays healthy, though. That would be ideal. Okay, so there was Franco telling me the team. Lawrence got sniped. Had Lamar and Bryce. That's a good combo. K9, Caleb Johnson, Aaron Jones, and ETN, along with Neighbors, Bryce, Tet McMillan, Ayuk, and Burden. Pretty happy with the team, to be honest. Not bad. Not bad at all. Running back is a little bit shaky, but can definitely compete. The fact you just start off Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas plus Tet, yeah, you're in good shape, man. Love the Tet Bryce Young pairing, and then Lamar is obviously an elite QB to have. So that's pretty good, man. Good luck to you in BBM. I'm kind of fading BBM a little bit, in all honesty, trying to get some better advance rates. But maybe if I won more money in BBM last year, I wouldn't be fading it as much. Anyways, that's gonna be it. Give me a second here. I would like to. Give me 1 second. I'm making Angus a moderator in case he wants to come back. Angus has been on the channel many times in the live streams. No, not the live stream. Podcast episodes. Angus and I do podcasts from time to time. So Angus is now a mod. I trust Angus with that responsibility. And then thinks that midseason it's clear they are not making playoffs, and then he complains a lot. I think Patriots will have a better record than Miami, and of course Buffalo will. Yeah, I would agree. I think the over-under on Tyreek staying is like week 6. I think the trade deadline is like week 7 now. I think he'll get to like week 5 or week 6. And then they probably move on from Tyreek. Someone's gonna want him, that's for sure. With Steelers running a lot of 2 tight end sets, I'm off Roman Wilson now. Yeah, I would agree. I was a believer. Now I think it's more valuable to have Calvin Austin just for the deep shot potential. If Roman Wilson played at all last year and we had some point of reference, then maybe I'd still be a believer. But we're just betting on draft capital at this point. And in general, Rodgers does not like young rookie wide receivers. Roman Wilson, even though it's year 2, is essentially a rookie wide receiver. Has no track record at all. And usually that's a big reason to fade the pass catchers that are that young with Rodgers. But how'd you do last year in BBM? Oh man, I drafted 12 teams. I didn't draft a ton of them. I only drafted 12, and I had 4 of them finish in 3rd place. It was really disappointing. I didn't have any of them advance. I was like so fucking livid about it. 4 of them were like within like 5 points of advancing. Like 3 of them were in like 1st and 2nd all year long, and then by week 14 they all fell to 3rd place, and so I didn't get any shot at the playoffs. I was pretty sad about it. It was unfortunate, but that's kind of just how it goes sometimes, you know. Just a bummer. Hope the power doesn't go to your head. It probably will, man. It probably will. McDaniel doesn't strike me as a guy who would be good when the shit is hitting the fan. He seems too chill for that, so probably not good head coach material. His team just has like no toughness, you know, like it's so reliant on speed, and then like weather is also like a big correlating factor to them being good. I just don't really trust them to like win big important games. Yeah, I mean that's kind of how best ball is in general. Like a lot of people don't like to admit, but like, you know, this is mostly a luck driven game. There's a lot of chance involved. There is some strategy and like some ways that you can convince yourself you're poised to win, but in general, it's there's really nothing that's promised to you at all. What's my prediction on DK here? Before Johnny was there, I was actually really high on DK. Now I think he's probably going to be like he was in Seattle, like a bit of an underwhelming receiver, like usually kind of overhyped and kind of offers like wide receiver 3 value in general. Like I think DK is going to be kind of what he was last year, wide receiver like 27, 25 consistently, but I wouldn't expect a shit ton of touchdowns in that offense really. I think they lean on defense in general. And even though Rodgers isn't washed, like now that Johnny's there, Arthur Smith is not going to be dialing up 12 targets a game for DK Metcalf. It's just probably gonna be closer to like 8.5, 9 at the max, and the touchdowns are gonna be kind of sparing. There's probably gonna be like a couple weeks where Metcalf goes off with like multiple touchdowns, and then there's gonna be like a 6-week stretch where he's averaging like 65, 70 yards and no touchdown at all. So I prefer him in best ball. I think he's better in that format. In general, he might let you down a little bit, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I also love the single entry tournaments, Angus. I wish I still had another Corgi available, but we got rid of that one really quick. It's always kind of sad when they go. It's like, dang, I would like to do more of these, but that's just kind of how it is. Weeks 1 through 14 is skill based, more so due to the aggregate, but playoffs is just luck. Absolutely. Even in redraft, making the playoffs is pure skill, and unless you're like the last team in and other teams just like completely shit the bed with injuries, it's almost all skill based to get to the playoffs, and then winning the championship is the luck in your favor or not. But yeah, that's kind of just how this game goes. Does Rodgers target tight ends a lot? Not really, but Arthur Smith really favors them in his offense. Like 2 years ago in Arthur Smith's Falcons team with Jonnu and Kyle Pitts had 90 targets, and then Jonnu had like 78. So expect about 150 targets divvied up between Freiermuth and Jonnu, and it probably favors Jonnu at like a 90 to 65 rate. That'd be my guess. He's never had good ones before, right? I assume you mean DK. Yeah, Metcalf has kind of been a bummer, but in terms of tight ends he's had, yeah, just Robert Tonyan. He didn't have 70. I think he had 11 touchdowns that year, but that would be kind of shocking if it did happen for Johnny this year. I think they'll both probably put up like 4 or 5 touchdowns Like Jonnu, 90 targets, 70 catches, 5 touchdowns, and then Freiermuth, like 65 targets, 3 touchdowns. That would be my guess. I think we'll be a bit disappointed in their offense in general. Probably a 9-win team once again. Anyways, that's going to be it for me. I hope you enjoyed. Hit that subscribe button if you haven't done so. Thank you all for hitting the like button. You guys were on it today, and nice to see. But yeah, hopefully Underdog does not get banned in California over the next 2 days, and we can continue these live streams as planned on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday like they normally are. But that's going to be it for today. Hope y'all enjoy your Wednesday. And I got some running back rankings videos coming up soon. Anyways, catch you later. Peace out, everyone. Bye-bye.